Yeah. So JC, let's go ahead and throw up that article about the HR 127, please.
All righty. There you go.
So I wanted to show everybody the new bill that's up, HR 27. It's the new people control bill. Now I call it the people control bill, but they want to call it a firearms ammunition control bill. This bill is not designed to control firearms and ammunition. It is designed to control people on how they own and possess firearms and ammunitions. Now, I'll go ahead and give you the good news about this, okay? So there is a political website, what do they call that? A watchdog website called govtrack.us. And what they do is they give you explanations about these bills. They tell you where they're headed, what stage of the legislation they're in, and they even give you their educated guess on whether this bill is going to be passed or not. So first and foremost, we need to know that this bill was presented by Sheila Jackson Lee. And I thought that was really funny, JC, that the bill was set up for was submitted by Sheila Jackson Lee. I got that right. It's not Sheila Lee Jackson.
From Texas,
right?
Houston area.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny because according to govtrack.us, the mere fact that this was submitted by Sheila Jackson Lee means that it's not likely to become a law. There is only 2% chance that this bill will actually succeed and even make it to vote on the House floor. So it was just submitted on January 4th. It's not even in committee yet. And so its first committee will be the House Judiciary Committee. And when it goes there, it will either, they'll look at it, they'll debate on it, they'll vote on it, whatever they're going to do. And then if it leaves the Senate Judiciary Committee, it'll go to a second committee. And then if it passes through that committee, then it goes to the Speaker of the House. And then the Speaker of the House decides whether it goes to the floor or not. So each spot along the way, the bill can die. Now, given the fact that govtrack.us says that it only has a 2% chance of surviving, I still want us to look at this bill because the last time this bill was brought forward, it was brought forward by the dude that thinks that Guam is going to tip.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. From
what's his name? Henry something?
Hank Johnson, Georgia.
Hank Johnson. Okay. So I'm seeing now that they sort of upgraded from Hank Johnson to Sheila Jackson Lee. So I want us to look at this bill because I want you to be able to see what is in this bill. Now, what this bill is the licensing of firearms and ammunition possession and registration of firearms. What this would do would be create a national firearms and ammunition registry at the federal level. Now, if that's not bad enough, right? It also tells us, if you scroll down a little bit, JC.
All right.
I'm going to try to keep going. Okay, stop. Oh, too far. Go back up. There, stop. Okay. So they're going to create a federal database of gun owners and ammunition. All the guns you have, handguns, long rifles, whatever you have, and all the ammunition that you have will be on a federal registry database. Now look at subsection 3B. The Attorney General shall make the contents of the database accessible to all members of the public. So the intent with this bill is to create a national database of everyone who owns guns, ammunitions, how much they have.
And then dox them.
And then dox them. It is a federal doxing bill.
Wow.
Now, what's even I don't think you can get crazier than that. But the good news may be that the federal government will never even allow you to get on that list. Because in order to purchase a firearm, which, by the way, you notice that the bill doesn't talk about purchasing, right? But there really is a limitation on purchasing in there. So if you put that back up again, I'll show you what it says. Scroll down a little bit. Licensing system, right? You have to get a license to have. And so according to this bill, the Attorney General of the United States is the one who will be issuing the licenses. And the only way you get a license to own a firearm is you, number one, have to be 21 years old. So if you are 18, 19, 20, and you have a family, you own a house, you serve in the military, or you're a police officer, any of those combinations or any one of those things, according to this bill, you are not allowed to own a firearm in your home to protect your family. So you will be all Americans between the ages of 18 and 21, 18 and 20 plus 20 and 11 months and 29 days, will be slaves to the government for their protection.
It's a good thing we don't own any firearms.
Yeah, absolutely. So put it back up again because there's one more catch. Not only that, scroll down a little bit. Wait, let me read this really quick because it's hard for me to see where we are. Oh, subsection 2. After you go a criminal background check, you have to undergo a psychological evaluation in order to get a license. Now, what's crazy is, right, it says, undergoes a psychological evaluation conducted in accordance with paragraph 2, and the evaluation does not indicate that the individual is psychologically unsuited to possess a firearm.
This should apply to the person filing the bill.
Right. All right, put it back up, JC. We've got one more thing to cover with this psychological.
Put Jackson Lee in a really bad place.
Yeah. All right. Make that a little bigger for me, man. All right. So notice that it says there under the Roman numerals 2, A2, or B2, right? Wait, where are we? Yeah, there it is. Undergo a psychological evaluation. Now, oh, you're jumping around on me.
Sorry.
Somewhere in there, it says that the psychological evaluation, all right, yeah, that's that one. Now you have to scroll down to the part, and I just had it a second before you took away the thing. That it is the Attorney General. Maybe scroll down a little bit so I can see something.
Training course certified by Attorney General.
No. Let me pull this up really quick on my computer. It actually says that the psychological evaluation is there it is. If you go down to where it says subsection 2, psychological evaluation, it's under antique firearm display license, and then C, which is military style weapons license, and then you scroll down one more, and then you see number 2, it says psychological evaluation right there.
Wow.
So the psychological evaluation that you have to get is conducted in compliance with the psychological standards established by, wait for it, the Attorney General. So the Attorney General will establish the standards of psychological fitness that will determine whether you are allowed to have a license or not.
Mm. Yes, Eric. Boating accident. So.
I mean, we spent a lot of time on the sailboats when we were going to Haiti.
We did. It was terrible how we lost all those firearms in 8,000 feet of water. It's awful.
Yeah. So there you go. The federal permission slip submitted by Sheila Jackson Lee, who, by the way, you have to know did not write this bill. Right?
No, I don't think she can write.
No. Sheila Jackson Lee did not write this bill. But that's what it says. And if HR 127 passes and govtracks.us is wrong, then it will establish that the federal government is to have a database and will be in control of whether you can have a firearm or not. And what just blows my mind, JC, is this whole idea that not only do you have to have a psych eval, but the criteria for the psych eval is established by the Attorney General.
Right. Which is going to be, you didn't question the results of the recent election, followed QAnon.
You never made a hashtag MAGA.
Right. Yeah. What's interesting about that, the Democrats challenged the, 2016 election results. Okay. It was
right.
When Trump won the election, they challenged that with various lawsuits, spent 4 years saying the election was stolen. It was fraudulent, Russian hackers, blah, blah, blah. And I don't believe the government ever classified any of them as domestic terrorists. And so here we are.
Yeah. Now, don't forget, if you say anything about the Constitution, if you say anything about liberty, if you say anything about states' rights, you are not only a potential domestic terrorist, you are very likely a white supremacist, which means under HR 350 that you will be subject to indefinite detention and warrantless searches and warrantless monitoring of your digital communications. And so, that's, you got to see how all of these things are coming together to fulfill the perfect storm that we set up by creating this federal government with so much power. And JC, while I'm here, Texas, teaching, and not really just while I'm here, it's always on my mind just how important it's going to be for us to have our state and local governments constitutionally informed and constitutionally astute, and be able to say, our people don't need a license from the federal government to purchase or own firearms. You can have guns. And here's what has to happen in a state. The governor has to say, within my borders of my state, all you need is maybe if you want to have licensing, right? I don't know if you want to have licensing. Maybe the state doesn't want license at all. But if they want to have licensing, then they say all you need in the state of Texas is a license from the state of Texas to sell these firearms. And they're not going to let anybody yet. We're not liberty mature enough to have a government that doesn't license a business, whether it's, tacos or firearms. And so we need governors that'll say, within the border of our state, we don't need a federal firearms license. We don't need federal firearms permission. You can buy and sell within our state without federal intrusion. And that's part of the solution of saying, the federal government has no power here.
Yep.
So we have Sheila Jackson Lee and the House of Representatives wanting to push through or at least pass this, some say it's a gun confiscation bill. It's more than that. It's to say you can't even own one. It's not even just to come and take them from you. It's to say you can't even buy one. And, historically speaking, JC, our founders, George III tried to disarm our founders this way by issuing permits to the importers of guns, of firearms and ammunition, and said that, in order to import firearms and ammunition into the American colonies, you have to get a permit from me first. And then here's the next step. He refused to issue permits. So anytime you see the federal government setting up some kind of permit program, remember, it's not about the government regulating how you do it. It's about the government setting up a system where they don't have to do it at all. They simply say you have to get a permit and oops, we're having this national emergency and we're not issuing any permits right now. Sound familiar? Meanwhile, back at the ranch, right, while they're trying to keep us from having guns, Nancy Pelosi and the House members are freaking out because they think their lives are in danger and they're asking for more security in the House. Not only that, they're asking us to fund security in their home.